and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, get your cocktails ready because the happy hour is about to begin. It's just about that time. Make sure you have your cocktails ready. The countdown is about to begin.
A little ordinary? Is it lacking something awesome? Well, head out to your local liquor store and pick up something extraordinary. Grab a bottle of Old Humble Straight Whiskey or Old Humble Special Reserve. They're clean, smooth, easy drinking whiskeys that taste the way whiskey should taste. From humble beginnings to an extraordinary finish, Old Humble whiskeys are what your bar needs today. Walk tall, be awesome, and drink humble. Old Humble Straight Whiskey and Old Humble Special Reserve. Get yours today.
Get yours today, indeed. Oh my God, I didn't check the camera. It is way up there. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, I am the Old Humble Guy. This is the Old Humble Happy Hour. Welcome to my pandemic studio. I have not turned the ongoing, okay, hang on. History lesson. Here, I got to turn on my light. Back in March of 2020, I set up this studio in my office at home so that I could start streaming our happy hour shows. March of 2020, right in the heart of the pandemic, that is when we started streaming these shows, and that is why this is called the Pandemic Studio, the Old Humble Distilling Company Pandemic Studio. However, with that said, let's go ahead and fire up our opening shot real quick. This is my Boomtown Bourbon. That is the drink of choice for the show today. Well, everything right? Boomtown Bourbon. Tri-grain, a traditional tri-grain bourbon, malted barley, rye, and of course corn. We heavyweight the corn and lightweight the rye in order to give it a smoother, sweeter finish. We age it in 5-gallon barrels, partly to balance. We partly lightweight that rye to balance out the 5-gallon barrels. And all in all, it's a delightful, delicious drink. Cheers. Spilt a little due to my microphone. But there you go. So that's the history lesson behind the Pandemic Studio. This is my Pandemic Studio. It is where we started the happy hour way back in March of 2020. Back when we had 25 subscribers. And we're steadily trying to build a channel. And now we are sitting happily at 2,300 and I believe 8. Last I checked, 2,308. We have recently gotten monetized. As you fine folks may have seen as we started the show. The two commercials I saw on my monitor were some kind of animal food, some kind of pet food. and the other one was Navy Federal Credit Union, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to my advertisers. And also a word from our sponsor, the Old Humble Distilling Company themselves. That's us. And I also have over here on my, I just discovered this button. I just discovered this button today. I have a button where I can push the button and insert an ad whenever I want to. So when I have to use the bathroom later, uh, I can put it on the title screen, insert the ad, run off, use the restroom, and then come back, and then we'll be ready to go. But that's that. But I also have super chats. I haven't turned on memberships yet, but I do have super chats. And super chats will come in very handy for you fine folks because we are doing our whiskey giveaway. Our whiskey giveaway is where I collect names during our live chat. Anybody who gets into chat gets on the list of names that goes on the Wheel of Doom and Glory. The Wheel of Doom and Glory is a wheel that I will spin at the beginning of October. I will spin it twice, one spin for Doom and one spin for Glory. The spin of Doom removes your name from the wheel. The spin of Glory gets you a free sample kit of our delicious whiskeys, our straight whiskey special reserve. We got our straight whiskey here, special reserve there, double oak rye, and Boomtown bourbon. You'll get a sample of each one of our 4 bourbons, plus a cigar from our friends at the smoking lounge. The smoking room. So names that I see right now, I see Tater Dom. Tater Dom. So every time I see your name, I see your name pop up, you're on chat. You get into chat, you get on the wheel. Boom, done, finished. You're set. You're all set. You're on the wheel. But if you want to game the system, a $1 super chat gets your name on the wheel again. JLM is on the wheel. So if you're on the wheel, the more times you're on the wheel, the better your chances of winning, obviously. So a $1 super chat gets you on the wheel. $10 super chat gets you on the wheel 10 times. $50, 50 times, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know how math works. Y'all can count. We figure it out that way. And of course, all the money that we collect up and earn through the channel goes back to the channel. New cameras, new lights, building out our distillery studio so that I'll be able to do shows from a live stage at the distillery with guests, with cameras, with proper production and proper sound and all of that fantastic stuff. So there you go. Our cocktail of the night is Boomtown Bourbon on the rocks. Bourbon rocks. You can find our bourbon online. We ship to 34 states. OldHumbleDistilling.com/shop online. OldHumbleDistilling.com/shop online. You can use the discount code MAKEIT2 with the numeral 2, make it 2, and any 2 bottles that you buy get shipped for free. That's my little gift to you. Saves you about $16. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Cheers to all you fine, beautiful folks out there. JLM says the smart TV is acting stupid. I want to watch a 50-minute video. 10 hours of advertising the video. Yo, God, yes. I actually noticed that on Spotify on my way up to Dallas this last weekend. I listened to as many audio ads on Spotify as I do commercials on the radio. Because I don't pay for Spotify. I use the free service. I still have CDs though, and my car does have a CD player. Well, that's how it goes. But anyway, today's we're just talking about news of the recent and it came to my attention today, the topic that we're going to talk about, that people don't know about the real story outside of Texas. And the real story is so fucking absurd, so absolutely ridiculous, so insane, cuckoo bird crazy. Y'all are going to love this. I don't know if many people out there know about our Attorney General here in the state of Texas and that he was impeached and that he was acquitted. But oh my God, the high school drama, the middle school drama is just delicious. So stay tuned for that. We're going to get to that in a minute. I promise. Trust me. And you're going to want to hear it. It's not politics. It's not political. It's middle school drama. It is so stupid and insane. You're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it. But trust me, you're going to love it. Just stay tuned for that. A couple of more housekeeping things. Talked about the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Talked about the whiskey giveaway. Talked about the build-out. We're going to start doing regular lives from the distillery. I spent 4 hours in the distillery today, and I was not dripping in sweat, disgusting and gross. The weather has finally shifted enough that I can work during the day in the distillery and not just be a goopy, disgusting mess. So we're going to start the build out of the tasting room next week. I'm going to go get my supplies this week. We're going to start the build out next week. We're going to have a bottling day today or tomorrow and Friday. We're going to do bottling. Bottle up some bourbon, get some stuff moved around. I've got some shipments coming in the next 5 days or so. So we're gonna have space in the distillery that's gonna be taken up by barrels and supplies. We're gonna have a bunch of other stuff that's gonna just have to be moved and shifted out, and then we're gonna start our build out. And you fine folks are gonna be along for the ride. I'm still working on figuring out what we're gonna do for the memberships for the channel. I know there's gonna be at least executive producer credits that we're going to put. You can put names on a scroll down here at the bottom, maybe, or at the end of the show. Put special thanks to our sponsors, people in the whatever $2 a month or $1 a month or $5 a month tier, whatever the lower tier is, probably $1 a month low tier. So people are what would $15 a year be? $1.25? Would that be $15 a year? 15 divided by 12. 15 divided by 12 will be, $1.25. You want to kick me $1.25 a month, give me $15 a year. I'll put you as an executive producer credit for the show. And then, or an associate producer. We'll do $1.25 for associate producers, $2.50 for executive producer. And then you also get your name on a plaque. Both of you guys, both the associate producers and executive producers, get their names on a plaque at the distillery. How's that sound? And then for associate producers, producers, and executive producers. We'll have 3 tiers. And then, of course, all of y'all get special access to. All of y'all will get special access to live music shows, Friday night shows, special behind the scenes stuff. Well, maybe if we have enough folks, we'll do special live tastings when we do special releases, like when we do our brandy or our gin or our vodka. Or when we do our cask strength release. I am thinking about doing a cask strength release. We got stuff planned, and like you fine folks who support the channel and support the distillery, we'll kick y'all into like the special limited edition club, folks. We want to do this Roughnecks Club years ago, where we had like special access people. I think we might roll the Roughneck Club into our YouTube membership program. That was like $100 a year for the special Roughnecks Club. You like no cover charges at the shows. That would be extended to private shows online and stuff like that. I don't know. I haven't figured that out. Give me hints and ideas. What would y'all like to see in a membership program with the Old Humble Distilling Company? I mean, I'm not going to be able to send like whiskey all over the horizon, like maybe sample bottles. Might be able to send those out of there, like with special releases, limited offers, and stuff like that. But I mean, let me know. I'm not going to be sending full size bottles. Can't do that. But we might be able to do some stuff where we do tastings, where we do get-togethers, where we do gatherings online, exclusive for members. That's a possibility, because ultimately what the goal is to get a new computer, lights, like in the distillery. We're going to have a computer set up, we're going to have lights, we're going to have audio set up, we're going to have a whole production set up, stuff that I can just set it, walk over to the stage, forget about that. We'll be, the camera, maybe even have a production crew. Maybe even if we have enough in the production budget, if we get enough memberships, maybe I'll be able to have a producer who can sit back there and throw levers and switches and stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Okay, so that's that. That's all the housekeeping stuff. We're coming to the end of our world tour. I have clocked about 4,000 miles total traveling across the great state of Texas, between Houston and Dallas and Fort Worth and San Antonio and Corpus Christi and Austin and Beaumont and Galveston, and just all over the major metros. The only places we didn't get to was Lubbock, Abilene, and other locations like that. But we'll get those on the list next time. We've launched a program where we started reaching out to more stores and more independents, working on getting our whiskey better positioned and better placed and better identified by shopkeepers. We are working. I am working my ass off. You can see, working my ass off. There it is. See, there's not much left of that thing there. Working. I had a lot to work off to begin with, but there's not much left, is what I'm saying. Um, uh, and honestly, actually, I've put on about 5 pounds in the past month, and I need to reverse that. Sitting on your ass in a car for 3 hours while you travel back and forth between Houston and Austin, or Houston and Dallas, or Houston and San Antonio, 4 hours in some cases, eating fast food and drinking sodas and coffee twice a day, surprisingly enough, is not particularly healthy. And I did go down for a week with illness there a week or so ago. And yeah, I mean, surprisingly enough, eating garbage food and garbage drink and sleeping poorly and not being home and being away from your family, all of that stuff combines to not be healthy. And you end up putting on a little bit of weight, and not in a healthy way, like not muscle weight, like fat weight. So I've got my bike, I've got a new pair of running shoes. I'm going to start working this shit off. Hopefully, y'all be seeing a lot less of me in the very near future. You know what I mean? But might even shave my beard back down. I mean, it's looking good. It's got the proper scraggle to it. It's a nice length. It's not like homeless. It's not my homeless beard, but this is a good length, I think, for my beard. I might grow it out a little bit, keep it trimmed down here, grow it out a little bit more on the chin. We'll see. Anyway, on with the show, shall we? Shall we move on with the show? Okay, let's move on with the show. Topic of the day. And by all means, this is a happy hour. Bring your topics as well. Feel free to throw them into chat, whatever y'all want to talk about. I'm going to talk about what I got to talk about for the next 15 minutes or so. Throw what you want into chat. We will get to every single comment. Every single comment before I shut down. Every single comment gets read. I love you guys. This is fan service. This is happy hour. I talk to everybody at the bar. We're doing this. 100%. Let's go. And also, I would love to see that pop up to 2310 before I leave. I think I only need like 2 subs. So let's go. On with the show, shall we? Let me look over here at chat real quick, see if there's anything to lots of commercials. It started copying my music over years ago. Never finished. See, that's the thing. See, there's certain of us in a certain generation. We've had our music copied into different formats, and then you get to a point where you're just like, you know what, screw it. We had albums, we had tapes, we had CDs, and then the CDs turned to digital format MP3s, and the MP3s turned into Apple Music, APX, whatever it was. They were all copyrighted. You couldn't move that stuff back and forth. And then you had a set of your CDs that were downloaded on your computer, and then the music that you bought, and then you got a phone, and everything from your computer didn't go into your phone, and then they changed the format of music, and it was like whatever the hell. I don't even know. I don't have all my music that I had, but I still have all the CDs. I do not have all the digital. I don't know where all the digital music that I bought went, and I'm done changing formats. I'll just Spotify it. Whatever. I'll buy a CD and I'll put a CD in my CD folio. We in Gen X had briefcases of compact discs. You know what you had. Ask your Gen X friend. Ask your pet Gen Xer about his briefcase of CDs. Ask him about the box of CDs that he has. Ask him about the folio, the thing that he had on his sun visor of CDs, the stack, the box, the folio, the briefcase, the organizer. He had one. They all had one. All of us Gen Xers had one. You fucking millennials don't know the struggle. Whatever. Kids these days, get off my lawn. Okay, topic of the night. Topic of the night. So people outside of the state of Texas don't know what happened. They don't know about this. It wasn't a big deal to most of the country. The people who watch the news, it popped up on the political programs, it popped up on the news programs. This was a whole, I don't want to say it was a saga, but this was a whole soap opera. This was a whole damn soap opera. And it all started in it started in 2017. Let's go all the way back to 2017. Ken Paxton, our attorney general in the state of Texas, a MAGA guy, a Trump guy, true blue piece of shit. Don't get me started. He's an absolute piece of shit. He's a Texas Republican. He's a piece of shit. They're all pieces of shit. And Texas Republican is redundant. Don't get me. This isn't a value statement. It's just we only have one party in the state of Texas. The Democrats abandoned us back in the 90s. All we have and since the late 90s, there's been this cycle, race to the bottom type of thing, where like one guy says, "Oh, cut taxes by 20%," the next guy 25%, and 30%. It's like an auction going in the wrong direction. These guys are the worst. Like, we'll cut property taxes, we'll cut them more, we'll cut them more. And ultimately, you end up paying in the end. You, like Joe Six-Pack guy, you end up paying in the end. We're not poor in the state of Texas. We got shit tons of money. It's just all sloshing around in the oil companies. Like, our school systems don't have money. Our counties don't have money. Our cities don't have money. The state has a rainy day fund that they won't spend on anything, but all the money in the state is wrapped up in the oil companies. I mean, it's there, and we won't tax it. Like, we won't touch it. We're a business-friendly state. That's why everybody's moving here, because businesses are moving here, and we're hiring a shit ton of people. So, okay, and that's not to say things are bad in Texas, but it is to say that things could get a lot better if we had good governance and we actually spent our money on things that. Okay, so that's political. We don't need to talk about that anymore. Ken Paxton did some corruption stuff, did some bribery stuff, did some illegal stuff. Boom, gets indicted. He's indicted. He's under indictment. Did some stuff in 2017. Federal indictment, mind you. He's under federal indictment as of 2017. Goes into 2018, and federal indictment in 2017. That was the Trump era. So it was the Trump DOJ that indicts the dude for the corruption stuff, the bribery stuff, and harassment of employees, whistleblower, breaking laws, all this stuff. He gets indicted for that. Gets reelected, has an affair, helps out a donor who is hiring his mistress so that he can continue to screw his mistress, and hires his donor or helps out his donor and uses public funds and his office to help his donor so that he can continue to screw his mistress. Okay? Gets elected again. Like, all this stuff is an open secret. We all know this stuff. Dude gets reelected. First he's elected, does the corruption, under indictment, donor help and all that shit, gets reelected. Like, the voters know that he's a piece of shit, and they're like, yeah, whatever. What's the alternative? Communism? Okay. So, like, this is ancient history. This is 2017, 2020, stuff that's happened in the distant past. He wins an election since then. Okay? Okay. Fast forward to April of 2023. April of 2023. And if you know your math, you can do the chronology, right? 2017, 2020, 2023. This shit's been going on for like 6 years, right? Everybody knows about it. Open secrets. Nobody's surprised about anything, right? 2023. This year, our Speaker of the House, whose name evades me because he's nobody. He's just another piece of shit. Our Speaker of the House comes onto the floor of the House of Representatives, drunk off his ass, waving his little gavel, his comically large gavel around, waving it around. You get a buddy, but do good. There's more than that. Dude is drunk, noticeably drunk, remarkably, noticeably shit-faced drunk or some kind of drug. He's impaired somehow. Again, not a secret. This is on TV. This is on the news. This is on TV. This is publicly broadcast on public access. Our version of C-SPAN in Austin. This is not a secret. This is not a secret. This is the end of the session. He's coming up, gaveling some stuff closed, drunk off his ass, slurring his words, barely standing up straight. Dude is befuddled. All right? The next day, our Attorney General, Ken Paxton, tweets out something along the lines of, he was noticeably impaired. I hope he gets the help that he needs, but he should resign. That's an embarrassment. The next day, the Speaker of the House of Representatives of the state of Texas reveals that Paxton has been under investigation for the shit that he's done, and he's going to be impeached. They've had the vote, and in a matter of days, boom, he's impeached. A few months later, it's, they got to do the investigation. They got to wrap up the investigation, whatever. August, boom, he's impeached. Done. So this is for stuff that had happened 3 years ago. There was an open secret. They had an election, and he still got elected for an investigation that had been ongoing that would have probably just ended with, yeah, you did some corrupt things, and that was probably bad. We probably shouldn't do that anymore. Don't do that anymore. Shame on you. Case closed, finished, done, move on. This is Texas. It's controlled by Republicans in the House, controlled by Republicans. Ken Paxton's wife is a senator, for crying out loud. Everything's, it's one big family, whatever. And that's an important fact to know. That's a really important fact to know when we move forward. But trust me, put that, like, write that down, like, roll it up, and, like, put it right here behind your ear, because you're going to want to pull that out later and look at it and go, oh yeah, everything's controlled by Republicans in the state of Texas. Every statewide office, governor, senator, AG, land commissioner, lieutenant governor, every single statewide office, the House of Representatives and the Senate, everything controlled by Republicans. Now, at the local level, in the state, counties and cities, that's a little bit more open, but all the way up to the top, gerrymandered like a motherfucker. Don't get me, oh, jeez. Anyway, like I'm telling you, they abandoned the state in 1990. Anyway. So, gets impeached in the House, goes to the Senate. They have a trial in the Senate where they go through all the stuff and they present evidence and all the stuff. And just before the trial starts in the Senate, Paxton starts sending out campaign contributions to the lieutenant governor and the other senators, and he just starts his political action committee and his campaign starts just sending checks, just writing checks. Sent $3 million to Dan Patrick, who formerly was a radio guy here in Houston. But Dan Patrick, who's the lieutenant governor of the state of Texas now, who owned radio stations while he ran for lieutenant governor, mind you. Corrupt as fuck. But anyway. He wrote $3 million check to that dude and a bunch of other people, and that was the guy presiding over the case, right? So they needed to get like 21 votes, if I'm not mistaken, to convict. The case goes on. They present evidence, and they were able to get 19 people, 19 Republican senators to say yes, they would convict, but 2 of them were holdouts and would not convict. So all of the Democrats, all like 9 or 12 Democrats, however many there were, there's not that many. Well, there's more than 12. It had to have been like 15, I think, Democrats. Somewhere in that neighborhood, 15, 16 Democrats. All the Democrats and 19 of the Republicans, but the last 2 were holdouts, and the last 2 remained holdouts, so all the other 19 decided to change their votes, and none of them voted to convict. If they couldn't convict him, none of them would convict. So the dude gets off. He's back in office, and he pins a letter, pins a tweet, whatever, pins a statement, blaming the Department of Justice of the federal government, Joe Biden's Department of Justice. Joe Biden's Department of Justice for impeaching him in the Texas House, which, mind you, is controlled by Republicans. And complicit Democrats who don't control anything that comes to the floor in the House of Representatives, don't have the votes to control any votes or any policy, any process, any procedure, any law, anything. Blames the federal Department of Justice and Democrats for his impeachment, even though even though the articles were presented by Republicans and voted on by Republicans, and it was the House Speaker, because he was called out for being drunk because he showed up drunk. This is so middle school, pissy, backbiting, mean girl bullshit. Like, if Paxton would have just kept his fucking mouth shut about the idiot speaker who was drunk on the floor of the House of Representatives, all of this would have gone away. The investigation would have just been a simple, just like every other investigation that happens in the Texas House. The investigation would have been, yeah, you did stuff bad, but we shouldn't do that stuff. Don't do that stuff again. Shame on you, mister. And poof, it would have gone away. Done. But all the stories that I've seen in the national news were Paxton impeached for breaking laws and breaking rules and corruption. No, Paxton wasn't impeached for that. I mean, he was. That's what the articles of impeachment were about. But that's not. If he had not said, "Our speaker's drunk. I hope he gets the help he needs. He should resign." If Paxton had just kept his dumbass mouth shut, it all would have gone away. He was impeached because he had the gall. He had the unmitigated nerve. He had the sheer audacity to say, "This guy's drunk. I hope he gets the help he needs." And they're like, "Oh, really? You want the help I need? You know what the help I need is? You're impeached, motherfucker." And then we get a whole month of the rhinos in Congress. The Democrats in Congress are impeaching. Even was it Lauren Boebert or Marjorie Taylor? One of those two dingbat hags was like, "Oh, the Democrats in the Texas legislature. The Democrats don't do shit in the state of Texas. The Democrats cannot shit without permission from the governor. They can't do absolutely nothing. They don't get nothing done in this state. They are the most. They are like." Democrats in the state of Texas are more useless than a Canadian freezer. They are more useless than a Canadian freezer. I mean, people in Canada need freezers occasionally. People in Texas, I mean, we even in a year when Ted Cruz was the most hated, most despised, most disgusting senator in the entire world, a very popular fella from El Paso couldn't knock him off his high and mighty horse. Democrats in the state of Texas are some of the most useless. Sixth finger, third leg, moronic. Don't get me started, but that's politics. I don't want to talk about politics. I'm more interested in Ken Paxton and his fucking middle school saga and his middle school drama, and how most of the country, if they know anything about it at all, think that he was impeached for legitimate I mean, he was impeached for legitimate reasons. Don't get me wrong. He was legitimately impeached for legitimate reasons. But the only reason it was done, the only reason they followed through with it, the only reason they actually did it was because the Speaker of the House was insulted because he's a drunk. That's it. That's it. He was drunk. He was called out for being a drunk, and shows up at work drunk, and like somebody's like, "Hey, I hope you get the help you need, dude. You really that's a bad look. That's embarrassing. This is the end of the session. You should resign, or at the very least, not run for re-election." And we know what he said. He's like, "Nuh-uh. You impeached, bitch." Oh, Lordy. I wonder if I should hit that button. Should I hit that button? I'm gonna hit that button. I'm gonna hit the add button, and then we're gonna switch over to the chat. All right. So sit tight. I'm gonna hit that add button. Let's go. Boom. What happens? Switch over the thing here. I don't know what's happening yet, so I'm gonna switch over this. Uh, did it happen? Do we have an ad? Did it happen? I don't know if it happened. But anyway, here's chat now. We can talk chat. I don't see it on my monitor. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's on the monitor now. Y'all can skip the ad. It looks like a skippable ad. We're already on the I have the chat window open. It's a skippable ad. You're welcome to skip it. I mean, don't skip it. Obviously not. Who is this? U.S. Bank is the advertiser that I see on my monitor. I mean, I am gonna skip it though. I skipped it. I'm allowed to. They're my advertisers. I can skip it if I want to. Okay, so let's move on. I'm gonna go down chat. The last chat that I saw was JLM's, and then I'm going to roll down from there. Started copying my music. Okay. We're gonna catch up. Uh, Bourbon Bounty is in the house. Cheers, Bourbon Bounty. Thinking about a distillery for fuel, cars, trucks, tractors. I'm gonna move the microphone over here so I can kind of read there. And can I move this? I can. I can move this over here. I'm going to put it right here in the middle of my screen so it'll be a little bit easier for me to see. That's awesome. Okay, so you can find us on TikTok. That's me. Think about distillery for fuel, cars. Home distilleries for this sort of stuff are actually pretty affordable. You can get a home distillery for something like $500. And you can make a sugar wash that will basically make a high alcohol. I mean, you got to boil the water, add the sugar, make a high sugar content water, and then ferment the water, and then distill the fermented wash. I mean, just like you'd make beer or rum or anything, ferment that up and make a very high octane fuel. And you can use that probably not for cars and trucks, but certainly for uh, uh, like lawnmowers and small yard tractors. You can absolutely do that. Anyway, 16. I think that was the math. Buck 25 times 12. That's 15. Buck 25 times 12 is 15. And Bourbon Bounty's on the wheel. Bourbon Bounty. The quicker picker upper. What just happened? Where'd I go? Bourbon Bounty is cheers. Being forced to move. That's not bad. Being forced to move. Team Poe right now. Howdy Bounty. How's it going? Forced to move. Now you're being forced to move. Why are you being forced to move? Is like somebody buy your house or something? Do they jack up the price or uh, doing catch and release serious? That's a whole nother thing. Some big cities are doing that, but not really for. I don't know, whatever. Not for serious criminals. I mean, that's a subjective thing. Some people think thieves are serious criminals, but um, sorry about your luck. Glad Bourbon Bounty's doing awesome. We should all bicycle more, generally speaking. Put it on a thumb drive. I would just like to put it on a thumb drive, or what? What are you talking about? Put it on thumb. Oh, the music. Yeah, that would be good. What happens to your iTunes when the phone computer expires? That's a great question, and I don't know the answer to that. It was Gallagher, the Sledge-O-Matic, a comedy. The Sledge-O-Matic, yeah, it's a big comic gavel. That's exactly what it is. It's like a big old block of wood at the end of a shower curtain rod, basically, or a curtain rod, one of those big wooden curtain rods. Investigated the government, found it had nothing. That's kind of true. That's kind of what happened. Kinda. The government invested the government and found out it had they did nothing. Kinda. That's not. Yeah. Kinda. 100% ethanol is about 100% 100 octane equivalent. Yeah. Yeah, it is. But it's the question. The question isn't the octane equivalence. The question is the yield and the amount of distillation you need to do in order to get enough enough fuel for it to be worth doing. You know, if you need to buy like 5 pounds of sugar is not going to get you 5 gallons of alcohol. 5 pound or at 100 proof, 5 pounds of sugar. You know, I mean, you're talking like 50 pounds of sugar, and 50 pounds of sugar costs money. It's almost as cheap to actually get gas. They make gas remarkably cheap. The scale that they make gas makes gasoline cheap. That's the key to the thing is the scale. Um, and you know you can make small. I mean, if you don't drive much, small amounts of gas aren't that big of a deal, right? You don't drive much. I mean, shit. If you don't drive much, it's probably better just to get a freaking electric car. You know, you don't drive much anyway. You're not using a lot of fuel. You might as well switch that fuel over to electric, and then you're never driving. You're never using it. You're never whatever. You're driving a lot, 4,000 miles in a month. That's different. Um, it depends. It's a scale thing. But oil companies can make gas cheaper than you can make alcohol because they have scale on their side. You've got to buy uh, distillable materials at super at retail rates. I mean, you don't get super discounts for and having a still that's 50 gallons at a you can make a still that's 50 gallons. That's not that hard to do, especially if you're not drinking it. Just get a metal drum, a couple of metal drums, and some propane heat. That's all it really takes. I mean, it's going to take you all day to distill that shit, all day to distill 50 gallons at a time. But 50 gallons of water, 50 pounds of sugar, um, heat it up, dissolve it in there, and then let it sit, ferment, give it a week. You'll yield out of 50 gallons, 10%, 5 gallons of pure alcohol. So at 100 proof, you'll get 10 gallons of pure alcohol. I don't know how much 50 pounds of sugar costs. Um, and I think that should yield you about 10%. And with the leftover wash, you may be able to get a second distillation out of it. You should be able to yield. I mean, you should be able to get 10% yield out of that. I think. Um, but yeah, you. I mean, and it's not just the materials at that point. You're also talking time, talking effort, the amount of time it takes to get 5 gallons of gas, 10 gallons of gas. It's going to cost you 2 weeks to a month to get 10 gallons of gas. I mean, I know I run through 10 gallons of gas in 2 weeks. It's between a week and 2 weeks, I'll run through 10 gallons of gas, just going back and forth from the distillery. So I'm gonna need at least 2 stills running, one every week, 2 fermenters running, and run the stills every week. So probably 3 fermenters because one will be dormant while 2 are being fermenting because you got to start the fermenter and then transfer the fermenter. So you need 3 fermenters. Uh, so one's dormant and 2 are active. Uh, and then you need probably 2 stills that are 50-gallon stills. Because you got to you got to boil the water or heat the water to dissolve the sugars while the other one is actually doing the distillation. So you got one for cooking and one for distilling. So, I mean, there's a whole logistical issue, is what I'm saying. A whole logistical issue. Um, it's not to say that it's impossible. Not it's just I'm just saying it's not practical. It's great as a hobby. Um, I've got and that's where I've got 2 stills. I'm gonna have 3 fermenters. When I finish my fermenters, I'm gonna have 3 fermenters, 2 stills, and with the 3 fermenters and 2 stills, that means I can have 2 batches I can have a batch fermenting or 2 batches fermenting and 1 batch distilling, while the other batch is cooking and heading to the new heading back to the fermenter. So yeah, that's kind of the setup that we've got. The sugar input is pretty. So okay, so maybe not 50 pounds of sugar, so 25 pounds of sugar, whatever. It's still a shit ton of sugar. But you can turbocharge the engine. Yeah, got that. And Chicago, as every conservative's boogeyman, is not. It is not borne out by facts. Chicago is actually safer than most cities, most other places in Illinois, for that matter. But it's not as dangerous as people give it credit for. I went to Chicago. I've walked around Chicago at night, and I tried to get murdered, and it was exceptionally hard to get murdered. I was only murdered twice. I tried really hard to get murdered, and I could only get murdered twice. And I thought over the course of 6 hours wandering around downtown Chicago, I could at least get murdered 4 times. But no, it was only twice. And one of those times was because I slipped. So it doesn't really count. It doesn't count as a murder. It's more of a slip and fall than it was a murder. But there you go. Chicago's not as dangerous as people give it credit for. I wish it was. It'd be way more exciting when you go visit. But yeah, only twice. Only twice. But yeah, I mean, a lot of farmers make their don't just they make fuel, but that fuel is for drinking. My great grandfather made fuel on the farm. He made peach brandy and he made rye whiskey, and he made it was peach brandy and rye whiskey. I have 2 specific recipes from good old Jean Philippe of whiskeys that he made on his farm, and I'm going to be adapting both of those recipes to my menu of whiskeys. I'm going to have a pecan oak rye whiskey and a peach brandy added to my lineup of delicious spirits. And that would be one of the things that we do as a membership program. Like, y'all get the first sip of John Philippe's peach brandy. Y'all get the first sip of John Philippe's pecan oak rye. A family tradition of pecan oak rye. I mean, that pecan oak, I mean, I'm telling you, you open up the bottle and it smells like a barbecue. It is absolutely delightful. Absolutely delightful. I played around with that recipe a little bit. So what he did is he would age it in a pecan grove. He aged it in a pecan grove with pecan wood. His barrels, he have used barrels from the whiskey guys down the road, and he would use pecan wood. He'd age it in the pecan groves. So his rye had a peculiar flavor to it because of the soil. He'd literally bury it in the grove. So the soil around it. So what I'm going to do is, because I don't have a pecan grove to bury it in, I'm just going to take pecan wood, and instead of double oaking my barrels, I'm going to use pecan wood in my barrels. So give that rye a smoked pecan wood flavor to it. And Mr. Jiggs has just gotten his name on the wheel. Congratulations, Mr. Jiggs. And once again, super chats, every $1 super chat that y'all provide gets your name on the wheel again. And right now we have over 100 entries. Just in the last 2 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 38, 43. And then go back to here. 3, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. Then add in the super chats, 55, 60, 65, 70, 80, 82, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104. 104 entries. Whew. Whew. 104 entries. So there you go. I'm super duper looking forward to the peach brandy. That is a 180-year-old recipe that I'll be resurrecting from my great 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 grandfather Jean Philippe, who was just a full on fucking Frenchman with a beard, like down to here. Dude had a beard, and he had a look on his face like you were less than him. He was just an absolute specimen of an old man. I've got his picture somewhere on my computer. Let me see if I can find it. I'll post it up. Show people what old JP looked like. What's this? Oh, there's our whiskeys. The Boomtown Straight Whiskey Special Reserve Double Oak Rye. That's not that's our space whiskey. We'll talk about that later. Space whiskey, we'll talk about that later. Those are the 34 states. We'll talk about that later. What else we got? This one? Oh, yeah, that's the one I can replace. Okay, we'll go with that. Browse. I'm going to look for the photo of old JP. See if I can find it. Look in imagery, advertisements. That's the one right there. Gabriel Garesh? That's not my great grandfather. Let's see, his advertisements. I don't think I have a photo of old JP. Not handy. Well, this will tease it. I'll tease it with Gabriel. Gabriel was JP's business partner. This, a fat little Frenchman, bought property with JP, and it was basically his sponsor in Shreveport. Gabriel Garesh. This was the dude in the early 1800s that JP hooked up with to get property in Natchitoches that eventually became the Côte d'Azur plantation, the old Breda plantation. So this was JP's business partner, Gabriel Garesh. And I have a picture of JP in my parents' house. I thought I had it on my computer, but I do not, surprisingly, disappointingly, because JP was a goddamn boss. Let me see if I have it in my Instagram photos. One more picture. Nope, not that. Let's see here. I got one more place I can look. Let me see if I can find it. One more. Y'all get this is live. This is live TV. God, I miss doing that back in the old Student Video Network days. We used to do double oak picks, holiday ads. See if it's here. Double oak? Nope. Holiday? Maybe. Is it there? Nope. Was it? I'm surprised it's not in the brandy, because that's where I'd have JP's picture in the brandy. Maybe it's just no. I've got all formats. Bottle shots, barrel files, attachments. Maybe it's there. Nope. One more try. Advertisements. Did I do it in advertisements? Insta. Ooh, maybe there. Download, bottle shot, town center. Nope, 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 nope. Where is he? Where is he? He's a very striking figure. I bet I could get my mom to send me a picture before the end of the show. Available at blackout. One more shot. See if I got it there. Astros. JP. No. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All we got is that little froofy little French dude there. That's the only guy we got. He's a Gabriel Garesh. It's 11 o'clock. My mom's not awake now. She's 76 years old. She's not awake. Bless her sweetheart. I love my mom. I really do. But she's not awake at this hour. There's no way she's awake at this hour. She better not be awake at this hour. What would she be doing at this hour? Why would she be awake at this hour? She needs to go to bed. She needs her sleep. Ugh. Anyway, Mr. Jiggs made it in. Cheers, Mr. Jiggs. Oh, thank you, JLM, to remind people to hit the thumbs up button because I forgot to tell people to do that. Don't forget to subscribe too while you're here. If you're just passing through, and I'm gonna play around with the nights that I do this because it seems that Saturday night's probably a better night than Wednesday night. Wednesday nights are nights that I have time, but I think Saturday nights are a better time to do it because I'm going to be open at the distillery and we're going to run till like 6, and then the distillery closes between 6 and 9 probably, and then I'll turn on the lights at the distillery. We'll do a happy hour at the distillery after hours. Old Humble happy hour after hours. After hour happy hours. So here's the thing. I know when I'm getting into my cups because I can hear my accent coming through more and more and more as I get further and further and further down the bottle. And I haven't had a lot tonight, but I haven't had a lot to drink in the last like 3 weeks either. I only drink like a couple nights a week. I know y'all think, oh, he makes whiskey, he drinks all the time. I don't really. I do, but I don't. Also, I don't drink to excess ever, except for on happy hours. These nights, these shows, yeah, I probably drink more than I should. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here. I'm at home, which is another thing I'm worried about. If I do the show at the distillery, I've got to really be careful because I don't want to drink too much. I don't want to drink. I absolutely do not want to approach the legal limit. That gray area between is 3 or 4 enough? No, don't do that. Do not go past. Do not approach. If you have to ask if you're okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. All right? That's the drink responsibly gene that we should all have inside of us. All right? So if I'm doing the show at the distillery, I worry about having to sleep 3 or 4 hours at the distillery before I'm allowed to come home. Because if I do this show for like 6 hours and I'm talking and we're chilling and we're hanging out, that's a problem. That's a legit problem. And I'm serious. We are committed at the Old Humble Distilling Company. All of my staff, all of my team, every person associated with the company, we are all committed. Drink responsibly, be responsible. We want you to come back tomorrow. We want you to be around tomorrow. We want your kids to have a father. We want your parents to have children. We want your husbands to have wives. We want your kids to have mothers. We want your brothers to have sisters. Your sisters to have brothers. We want you to be around. We don't want you to not be around. So be responsible. Don't make me come over there and slap the piss out of you. Because I'll slap the piss out of you. But also at the distillery, I can smoke a pipe if I want to. I can have a cigar. I can have a pipe. I can do whatever I want at the distillery. In the tasting room, but not in the distillery bar. Because the distillery bar, there's absolutely no smoking. Lisa, my lawyer, would not be happy if I said that smoking was allowed in the distillery bar. The distillery bar, there's no smoking, no open flames whatsoever. But in the tasting room, it'd be okay. And we'll probably not allow it in the tasting room either. Because we got a whole outside. You can have an outside cigar garden if you want to. There's no reason to have a cigar garden inside. That'd be dumb. Anyway. All right. So anyway. And further stories with that pecan rye. That pecan rye. My great-great-great-grandfather had several bottles left. And every generation, the bottles got lesser, fewer and fewer in number. The last bottle that I remember existing was in 1986. I was 11 years old, officially. If you go by the official timeline, I'm 11 years old. The unofficial timeline, I was like 632. But anyway, I was 11 years old. And every year as a kid, my parents, the elders, my grandfather, my not my grandfathers, my aunts and uncles, the elders, as we call them, the council of elders. My aunts and uncles, Uncle Clyde, my dad, my mom, my Aunt Irma, Uncle Od, Aunt Marie, um, Aunt Joy, uh, Uncle Bill. These folks would all get together and sitting around the kitchen table at my grandmother's house, Mama. They're sitting around the kitchen table and they would all pour themselves a drink of the pecan rye that my great great grandfather had. And these were vintage bottles. We're talking bottles that were 80 years old. Because my great grandfather made it, my great great grandfather made it, and my grandfather made the last batches. My grandfather, who I never knew, uh, didn't make whiskey, but he was entrusted. He and his brothers and sisters were entrusted with the last batches. A few of them went off to wherever uh, Joseph Tofield's family's brothers and sisters went. One of them was Uncle Edgar, who just lived down the street. So, his bottles were JT's bottles. Um, but these, they poured themselves one drink from an old bottle that was an amber colored bottle, one of the brown bottles, just a generic Scotch bottle. These weren't bottles made for sale. These were bottles made for home consumption. And there weren't a lot of them. And we were down to our last several bottles. And the way Mama's house was, mind you, this is an old 1800s farmhouse. And picture a house where you have a perfect square, and in the front you have the porch, right? And then you have your living room. You're facing the front door. From the back, you're facing the front. In the front right side is the living room, and then behind that is the formal dining room, and then behind that is the kitchen. And there's the pass through. There's a window where you pass food from the kitchen into the dining room, and there's a swinging door where you could walk into the dining room, but there's a service window where you pass food in. The sink was over here on the right in the kitchen, and in the back of the kitchen was the pantry. The pantry was a full fucking room, a whole goddamn room, 30 square feet. And it had exactly what you expect to see in a pantry of that era. Preserves, mason jars full of whatever, eggs, just all kinds of shit. And then there was the hallway that went down the middle of the house from the back door all the way up to the front. And off to the side was the stairwell that was built up into the attic, and then go around the stairs into the center hall, the foyer, if you will, the foyer. But it wasn't a foyer. It wasn't a foyer. Foyer. I don't know how to pronounce it. It wasn't a foyer. It was a sitting room. It was the sitting room, and in the sitting room, off the sitting room, the sitting room was in the middle, like in the middle of the house. Like in the front was there was the living room up here, and then from the living room you went into the sitting room, and into the sitting room was the front bedroom, the bathroom, the main bedroom, and then the hallway back into the kitchen, right? And then the other hallway into the back bedroom. So there's a back bedroom, the main bedroom, the bathroom, and the front bedroom. And we're not talking like big rooms either. This is a farmhouse, not a huge house. But this was a sitting room where they had chairs. It was like a little living room, but it was basically where you would go and sit and wait for people to come out of their room after they finished getting dressed. Gentlemen callers would sit there and wait, full of armoires and stuff. And then in that like back hallway was an ice box refrigerator that had like the space for the block of ice to keep the thing cold. And then you go upstairs into, it was basically an open attic. Had like 6 beds, a dumb number of beds up there. And there was a grate in that hallway upstairs where you could they had a piece of canvas over the grating, and that's how air circulated up through the attic and down through the rest of the house. And we, the kids, would sit up there in that attic, and there was a room in the back of the attic that we always said was haunted. We didn't know why it was haunted, but we always said it was haunted. That was where my oldest uncle died. We didn't know that that's where he died, but we always said it was haunted. We didn't know why it was haunted. Anyway, so we, the kids, would sit around that grate and listen to the grown-ups talk downstairs. They knew we were up there listening because they're not stupid, but we'd always sit up there and listen to them talk. And we'd listen to them talk, and they'd every year, a couple of days before Christmas or a couple of days after Christmas, whenever all the elders got together, they'd pour themselves one glass of JP's rye whiskey. They'd pour one glass of the whiskey, and they'd raise their glass and they'd say, "To Dad, one more glass." And they'd clink their glasses together. They'd take a drink and they'd put it down. They'd cork it, put it back in the box. That's it. And they put the glass away. They put the bottle away. And this was Christmas. I want to say it was 1986, maybe 1987. I was either 11 or 12 years old. And it was the only time I ever got the opportunity to taste that whiskey. I was just a kid. It tasted like absolute shit. I hate it. I'm not going to lie. It was terrible. I did not like. I was a kid. I was 12 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, at the oldest 12. And I'm having rye whiskey that's at this point probably 50 years old. I mean, this is the definition of a dusty old bottle. I mean, imagine yourself as a 12-year-old drinking rye whiskey that was made in a still in somebody's fucking farm. It tasted like shit. Without question, it tasted like shit. I did not like it. I did not like this, Sam. I did not like it. Not here nor there, not anywhere. I did not like it, Sam. I do not like this. Let me be. I do not like this. Can't you see? I do not like this. Let me be. I do not like this in a boat. I do not like this with a goat. I do not like it in a house. I do not like it with a mouse. I do not like it on a car. I do not like it in a plane. I do not like it, Sam. Anyway. But now, the nostalgia takes hold, and I think about that bottle, and I think about how the elders got together every year for decades, and they had one drink out of that stash of bottles that great grandpa left to great grandpa left to grandpa. That stash of I don't know how many bottles they had, but one drink every year for decades. And my grandfather was in his 50s when he had a heart attack and died. My dad was young. He was maybe 13 or 14, I don't remember. He was just a kid. So this ritual that they had every year at Christmas, getting together, one drink from the bottle, and then they moved to the next bottle, and then they moved to the next. So one bottle, there were 6 of them plus the wives. The one bottle would last 2 years. Because a bottle is like 16 drinks, and they probably poured heavy. So one bottle would last 2 years, plus mama. So one bottle would probably last 2 years, maybe 1.5. So they'd go through, I don't know, over a decade. They went through 30 bottles. I mean, like I said, they didn't have a lot. But the opportunity that I have to recreate this recipe is pretty cool. It's not going to be a true representation. It's not going to be a true recreation because I'm not going to be burying a barrel. I got to write down Bacon. Welcome to the party, Bacon. Cheers. It's not going to be a true recreation of the recipe but it's going to be a faithful representation of what it was, with a little bit of twist, a little bit of spin on it to uh, uh, equate it to my palate. But the peach brandy, that's going to be a true effort to recreate the recipe that JP had. And I'd have no evidence whatsoever that his son, my great grandfather, did anything to attempt to recreate that recipe at all. So JP J, I don't remember his name. Is it John? No, it wasn't John. It was Joseph something or another. But that doesn't matter. Anyway, I've got it all written down. Like memories come and go. I'll remember it eventually. But that said, those are both on the list of things to do in the next, uh, in the next 12 months. Plus the space whiskey. So there's the peach brandy, JP's peach brandy, the resurrection of the 180-year-old recipe. There's the pecan oak rye, a family tradition that I'm going to try to resurrect. And then there's uh, the family rye, the family tradition, and then there's the space whiskey. And the space whiskey, of course, is the whiskey that in the barrel, the whiskey barrel that I fully 100% intend to send to space, and that is this. Why space? Nope, that's this. Why space whiskey? We choose to do this and the other things. Not because it is easy, but because it is hard. Why does Rice play Texas? Is it that one? No, not that one. Is it that one? No, it's not that one. Is it that one? No, it's not that one. Is it that one? No, where's the damn? I've lost. Is it this one? No. I've lost the pick. I don't know which pick it is. That one, that one, that one. Which one is highlighted? There it is. Couldn't find it. There it is. We choose space whiskey not because it is easy, but because it is hard. And yeah, one of the most inspiring speeches ever made by an American politician. The Kennedy space, why we choose the moon mission speech. It's an absolutely amazing speech. Love it. If y'all haven't listened to it, y'all should listen to it. You can get the full text of the full speech on YouTube. It's a beautiful, fantastic speech. You should absolutely listen to it. And if you aren't inspired after doing it, then you are a heartless monster. Yeah, you heard me. You heard me. I said it. You're a heartless monster. If you're not inspired, hearing Kennedy say, we choose to do these things not because they're easy, but because they are hard. We're not Americans. We're Americans. Impossible is un-American. I put it right here on the back of my bottles. Impossible is un-American. It says it right there. Can y'all see that? Can you read that? You should be able to read that. You can't read that, but I will make it so you can. Where's that dude? Is that him? That counter? It's a web page. What's this one? Is that a thing? All right, we're gonna replace him. Browse. Bottle stuff. I need to be able to see better. Come on. Labels? Is it under labels? Is that where I have it? This one. There it is. Okay. That's the one. Booyah. Impossible is un-American. I believe this shit with 100% of my being. Impossible is un-American. We don't do things because they're hard. We do them because, well, we don't do them because they're easy. We do them because they're hard. Impossible is motherfucking un-American motherfuckers. We do this shit. This is how we do it. This is how we roll. Impossible is un-American. Let's close that up. I'm going to keep that as a permanent addition to my videos. You listen to it and you're a heartless monster. I know you're a heartless monster, Bacon. That's one of the reasons why I kind of like you. I have a weird affinity for the guy. I don't like a lot of the people that you bring on your show, but I like a lot of them. I like you. I take that back. I like a lot of people that you bring on your show. Tell Soldier Girl I said hi. What's up, girl? I don't want to make it weird between us, but I kind of want to make it weird between us. As long as there's half of a country between me and Soldier Girl, it's okay. I'm okay to flirt with her. My wife said so. Actually, I didn't ask my wife, so don't tell my wife. Yeah, I had to double check and make sure she's not watching. Like she'll pop up in that window. Be like, "What are you saying?" I said, "I love you, honey. You're beautiful. I love you. You're everything to me. You are my shining star and my everything." So anyway, what was I saying? Like I said, I don't want to make it weird between us, but I kind of want to make it weird between us. I wish we had I wish I could do this thing where me and Soldier Girl understood we could just like flirt and she'd know I was kidding and I'd know she was kidding and we could just be all weird and make everybody else think it's weird and everybody else just be all why are they yeah, and it'd be just a total platonic act and I would love that. That'd be so funny. I don't have anybody else on YouTube that I could do that with. But Soldier Girl seems like the cool. Maybe Twisted. She didn't hang around much with me. Maybe Sunflowers would do it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I gotta go out and solicit platonic friends who are willing to do weird shit. Anyway, did I just make it weird? Did I make it weird? Is that cool? No. What time is it? 11 change. 11 and change. 11 and 21. All right, we're going for another 39 minutes. 39 squirrel. What? Squirrel. John Jacobs is in the house. What's up? We got another name on the wheel. That is 106 names on the wheel, or 106 entries on the wheel. John Jacobs. You are on the wheel of doom and glory, my friend. Welcome to the party. Cheers and salutations. I've got at least 2 more weeks of Wheel and Doom and Glory editions. I'm going to put out a video next week, letting people know that they can get the last 2 happy hours and probably several live build-out shows to get into the Wheel of Doom and Glory. The Wheel of Doom and Glory. We're spinning the Wheel of Doom and Glory to give away a prize package of our Boomtown or our sample whiskeys. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. Is that it? I have so many different pictures and stuff. Nope, not that one. This one? Nope, not that one. This one? Nope. I'm trying to find the prize package. That one? Nope. That one. Yeah. So you get a sample kit of our whiskeys if you win the spin of the Wheel of Doom and Glory. But the Wheel of Doom and Glory is Doom and Glory. What happens with the Wheel of Doom? I spin the wheel, and if your name pops up, it comes off the wheel. Dum, dum, dum. But only that one entrance. Only that one entry. So if you're on the wheel 5 times and your name comes up the first time, it comes off 1 time, not 5 times, just once. And then we spin it again for glory. The second spin is the spin of glory. The spin of glory is the people who win a prize package of our sample kit. Boomtown Bourbon, Special Reserve, Double Oak Rye, and Straight Whiskey. You can try them all. Plus a cigar from our friends at the Smoking Room here in Humble. So you can get a cigar from our friends at the Smoking Room, plus our 4 samples of whiskey. That's my camera. Uh, there we go. So yeah, we spin the wheel of doom and glory, and for every time you get into chat on a live show, you get into chat, you get on the wheel. If you want to get on the wheel more often, more entries onto the wheel, super chat. Every $1 super chat gets you another entry on the wheel. So $10 super chat, 10 entries on the wheel. $5 super chat, 5 entries on the wheel. $50, 50 entries. You can totally game the system. There's about 106 entries right now. $100 gives you a 50% chance of winning. Booyah. And all of the money that we do on YouTube goes back into the YouTube channel. All the money, we're doing cameras, lights, green screen. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to do a green screen at the distillery. But all this is going to help build out the not the pandemic studio, but the distillery studio, the actual live studio at the distillery, which I have not yet named yet. I've not yet decided to name. We only got 4 likes. That's gay. Oh, I shouldn't say that. That's a Gen X thing. That's lame. I need to say that's lame. That's the appropriate thing to say. Because back when I was a kid, back when I was in high school, you're fucking queer. That just meant you were weird. But now it's like a slur. Can't do that anymore. Can't do that anymore. Y'all need to be better. Y'all need to be better people. Y'all need to just be better people. You can't be calling people gay, calling people queer. That's not like how things are done anymore. You just have to call people like jerks and assholes. Ow. Ow. Yeah, back when I was a kid, we played games like Smear the Queer, and you can't do that anymore. It's not allowed. Hi, Joe. Hi, Bacon. Wheels. Howdy. Long time Bacon. 100%. We'll do that. 100. Whatever that means. I'm so lame. 4 likes. Doing okay thing. Oh, yeah. Y'all are talking. Okay, y'all talk amongst yourselves. It's fine. I don't mind. It's fine. You don't need me. I'll just sit over here, chill out, not be a part of y'all's conversation. Oh. What the shit's going on in Washington and Corpus Christi? I mean, I talked about fucking Ken Paxton and the goddamn High School Musical bullshit that was going on this morning. This last month? What the hell else is going on? I've been on the road. I haven't heard anything. I don't listen to the fucking radio. All I know about is Hunter Biden's computer. I, there's no real news that I've heard of the last week. I mean, I know we're gonna get a mission to an asteroid returning a sample to the Earth, and I see that, and I'm like, why can't I do whiskey in space? I can do whiskey in space. If they can do that shit, I can do whiskey in space. Whiskey in space. Name for the. I might auction off the name for our studio. Do a 2-year naming rights for our studio. Oh, that would be delightful. 2-year auction or a 1-year auction. We'll do naming rights for our studio for 1 year. Auction it off. Anything goes. We'll do the Ku Klux Klan recording studio at the Old Humble Distilling Company. Come on, bitches, do it. Bring it for $5,000. Sure. I'm gonna auction off the name, the Donald Trump Memorial, uh, the clown show in the cap. Clown show in the Capitol. Dude, that would be opening myself up to all the risk. Like, y'all don't want this to be the KKK studio, right? You don't want to be the Adolf Schmittler Memorial Studio, right? Come on, my guys. I cannot sit here and let $500 be the winning bid for Schmadolf Schmittler. Mm. Oh my. my. That would be funny. I mean, it's $1,500. It's a lot of money, right? You can buy a lot of equipment with $1,500, and it's only a year. The Banco Capital. Maybe I'll just do that for naming rights for like a month at a time. Be like, super chat naming rights. Give me the naming rights. We'll auction it off. Put it up. Put it up. Put it up. You want naming rights for the studio? Put it up. Maybe membership. Maybe do memberships where for a month, your membership for a month lets you name the studio for I don't know what, $50 a month? No, we can't do $50 a month. It'd be $600 a year. For $600, you get to name the studio? Huh. Huh. I don't know. I'll work that out. I'm pretty sure I can figure that out. There's ways to do that. Crowdsource answers like there was that icebreaker a few years back, Studio McStudio Face. That'd be the shit. Studio McStudio Face. The Studio McStudio Face Studios. The Old Humble Distilling Company. $700 to residents of Maui. What? $700 to residents of Maui and $2,500 to each Ukrainian. All right. I'm going to do this thing real quick. I'll be right back. I got to go grab a piece of ice. Here's that. And don't go anywhere. We will be right back. I'm back. Boom. Did that work? I think I don't know if it worked. Fuck it. Anyway, I'm back. I'm back. Don't go anywhere. Um, where are we at? Uh, chat. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. Somebody need to chill the bottle. Um, we have $700 to residents of Maui and $2,500 to each Ukraine. I don't think that happened. I don't think that's a thing that happened, John. But anyway, neither here nor there. I wonder, do I have my smoke kit? Because I could smoke my bourbon a little bit. Where's it at? Is this it? Is that my hat? Where is it? Oh, here it is. Well, the ice needs to melt down a little bit before I can properly. Before I can I need to get a new microphone too. My microphone's a piece of shit. I need to get everything new. I need to get a new computer. I need to get a new camera. I mean, right now I'm using a webcam. I need to get a new camera. I need to get everything. Whatever. Um, oh, okay. Anyway, and like I said, all of the funds that come through the channel go back to the channel. So there we go. Did the commercial run? Did it run at all? I mean, I don't know. Maybe the residents of Maui never got theirs. Entirely possible. I don't think they send like direct payments out. FEMA. I don't think FEMA sends out direct payments. That's not how it works. That's not how FEMA did shit when we had floods in Texas. That's not how FEMA did shit when we had hurricanes in Texas and floods in Texas like 6 times in the last 5 years. That's not a thing that happens. And I'm pretty sure they weren't cutting checks to people in Ukraine either because that's not how it works. Uh, missiles. Y'all didn't get any commercials? Okay, so no ads popped. Okay, well. I have a button over here on my computer that allows me to hit and have ads start. But apparently I didn't get them. What I do need to do is have a be right back screen with me on the toilet. Like pants around the ankles, sitting on the toilet. A little bluegrass in the background. Be right back. I mean, it's late. I gotta poop sometimes. It's 11:30. I'm gonna be on for another 23 minutes. I mean, things happen in the middle of the night. Uh, yeah, y'all. That's it. That's it. Y'all are on the premium plan. With the premium plan, you don't get commercials. I do want to see what I do want to hit it one more time. I mean, I don't get any money off the commercials. There's only like 5 people watching, so who gives a shit? That's it. A picture of the outhouse. A picture of the outhouse. A old fashioned wooden outhouse. Old Humble will be right back. That would be cool. That would be cool. Maybe I'll do a mural on the bathroom wall. The wall that surrounds my bathroom. Well, 3 walls. That's a outhouse in the woods. So that people know that's where the bathroom is. They're like, yeah, that's the bathroom. It's over there. It's my Scooby Doo laugh. Anyway, all right. Enough nonsense. Enough of this bullshit. This is just me fucking being a dumbass. Stop being a dumbass. Old humble guy. Like, focus. Okay. So what have we talked about tonight? Let's recap. We've talked about the world tour that I went on, about 4,000 miles worth of driving across and back and forth on the state of Texas. We're going to start live shows, live broadcast from the distillery in the next couple of days, where I'm bottling and beginning my build out of the tasting room. Then we've got ongoing happy hours from the pandemic studio, but then we'll be expanding our happy hours to the actual distillery studio, the tasting room studio, which is yet to be named. Sip. Cheers. The actual tasting room studio, which is yet to be named, because it's yet to be finished. I need to get my my membership program up and running, properly done. By Honey Bucket. Live from the Honey Hole. Live from Honey Bucket Studios. Honey Dipper Studios. For only $150, you can name our studio for a month. That's a cool program. For $100, you can for $200, for $50 a show, you can name our studio for a month. You can call it the goddamn Bacon Studio for a whole month. I could send that solicitation out to all of my 500 or so subscribers to my newsletter. Solicit more subscribers to my newsletter. Dude, name our studio for a month. And if I don't like it, I can auction it off to somebody else. We could do this as an auction. Oh, dude, that would be fucking awesome. That would be so awesome. That would be cool. Name our studio for a month. A special membership tier where you can name our studio for a month. And you can pay for it for a year. So for $100, what would that be? $100 a month? No, that'd be like $88 a month. 100 divided by 12. $8.33. Now we got to go 9 times 12 for $108. Now fuck that. 12 times 10, $120. $120 for $120. $10 a month. You can name the studio for a month. A special membership tier. $10 a month and name the studio for a month. But you got to be a member for a year. You can't do it and cancel it. How do I do that? Okay, we'll figure that out. Who cares, right? I mean, who gives a shit? I mean, if you wanna pay $10 and name, like, you pay $10 and you're the first one on the list, and it's like, okay, it's the Eat My Butt Studio for a month for $10, and then the next month it's like Golden Retriever Studio, and then $10 dude Eat My Butt canceled his membership. Oh fuck it, who cares? I got $10 out of the dumbass. There's got to be a way to protect the integrity of the program. I can't even say that without cracking up. The integrity of the program. Got to be a way to protect the integrity of the program. Exactly. But I mean, eventually, we'll get enough people, right? We'll get enough members where it's like we got to raise it up to $15 or $20. We got to raise the amount, right? We'll have and that's like a natural auction, right? We get 12 people They've named the studio 12 people with the $10 a month tier, and then they cancel, and we raise it up to 15 or 25 or whatever, because you get to move to the front of the line, right? You're raising your membership rate, right? Maybe. I don't know. There's a way to do it. Instead of being a monthly payment, it could be like a one time, but like $5 a month. That's like a $1.25, $2.50. That's your associate producer and producer, and then naming rights could be as cheap as $60. Name it for a month for only $5 a month. That's a fair deal, right? You can name the studio, and then when I come on the show, I'm like, "Welcome to the Old Humble Happy Hour from the My pee-pee is tiny and small and tastes like candy canes studio." Special thanks to John Jacobs for naming my studio that, you fucking asshole. uh, that would be funny. That would be legitimately funny. You could make me say whatever the hell you want me to say, and I would announce. You could be the you got a book to promote, you got a website to promote, you got a brand to promote, you got whatever you want to promote. The Bourbon Bounty Studios, whatever. The Old Humble Distilling Company's Bourbon Bounty Studios. The Old Humble Distilling Company's Goddamn Bacon Studios. JLM Studios. Whatever you want to call it. My wife is a Queen Studios. I love you, honey. You're the bestest ever. Love, Jim Studio. I'd do that. I'd do that for $50. Go for it. That's worth $60 a year. $60 for a year? Hell yeah! You get to name that for a month, and then I'd even be cool with you canceling your membership after 30 days. Hell, I'd be cool with you canceling that membership after a week. But you guarantee that the show I'm going to do, when it's the "Honey, I love you, you're my queen, you're everything I want you to be," and more studios, the show is going to be about alpha males and how to pick up chicks or something. Every time I've brought a bottle of whiskey to the Whiskey Brothers, do a podcast. Slade Ham, used to be Rob Mungle, not Rob anymore. Jerry Wayne Longmire, Trey Tutson, Sam, Jesus Christ, all the names have fucking evaded me. Slade and Sam and Jerry and Trey. Those are the four. These guys, they're fucking hilarious. They're great comedians. They're amazing people. I love them to death. Sam Damaris. God damn. Can't fucking believe his name evaded me. Of all the people, Sam's fucking amazing. It used to be Cheeseman, Dale Cheeseman. Kiki Maroon was in the Whiskey Brothers. She was the girl in the Whiskey Brothers. There's been 6 Whiskey Brothers since 7. Rob, Slade, Sam, Trey, Kiki, Dale. 6 Whiskey Brothers. There's been 6 Whiskey Brothers since I've known them. 7 total because of John Westland. John Westland. All of them fucking hilarious. Great fucking comedians. Anyway, every time I'd give those guys a bottle of whiskey, every time I'd talk to them, every time I'd do a show with them, every time I'd do like some kind of like event participation, like they're like, "Oh, they gave us a new thing. This is the Whiskey Brothers." Blah, blah, blah. And they'd be like, Rob would come on and be like, "I'm trying to take the term tranny back. Tranny's been taken by transsexuals, but I think it should be used by people who have transplants." And I'm like, God damn it. My whiskey's now associated with a show where they're doing tranny jokes. What the fuck, Rob? Why don't you just hold my head on the ground and put a fucking bullet in it? God damn it, Rob. And Slade would always say, this is why we can't have sponsors. I'm like, yes, exactly why you can't have fucking sponsors. You crazy people. Jesus Christ. And Trey has been on the show. Sam has been on the show. Rob's been on the show. Slade's been on the show. John's been on the show. John Westling. I think I've had John on the show. I can't remember. But Slade and Rob and Jerry have been on the show. Trey and Sam. And I don't know if John has been on the show, but I've been on John's show. But Jesus Christ. Those guys are funny as hell. Slade just did his special. He's funny as hell. Trey's done a special. It's really cool hanging out with comedians in the city of Houston and them getting their specials recorded. I've had so many guys that I know from the last 5 or 6 years since I started doing this shit full time that have gotten their specials recorded. Trey and Slade and Jerry and Brian Biggio and Grady and like all these guys. There's at least a half dozen that I can think of off the top of my head who've gotten their specials recorded in the last like 3 years. They've grown up into big time, big boy comedians, and it's fun to see like them mature into and some of them were already mature comedians. They've been doing it for 10 years already. They're just finally metastasizing to the point where they're like, okay, I want to take that next step. And some of them were just new and on the scene. Like Trey grew up in the scene since I've started doing this full time. Grady and Ryan and Brian and Jerry. Jerry was, oh fuck, these guys, so much fun. So much fun to see the growth of the industry and be a part of. I'm a small part of it. Be the part of it that's like helping these guys make bad decisions. I like helping people make bad decisions. That's why that's what I'm really good at. Anyway, all that said, buddy of mine hunted with hunted, dude. That's fucking awesome. That's fucking awesome. The way those guys, the redneck comedy guys, the way they came together, Fox. That's not unlike the Whiskey Brothers. It was like a group of guys that got together and they were like, "We're gonna do this thing. We're gonna tour together. You're gonna be my friend." And Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy. Larry the Cable Guy created this persona, and who was the other guy? There were 3 of them, right? The blue collar comedy group. There was 3 of them. Jeff, Foxworthy. Oh shit, who was the other guy? Tater Salad. Fuck, he was fucking amazing. He's fucking hilarious. He's an absolute fucking hilarious guy. Tater Salad. Uh, salad comedian. Tater Salad comedian. That guy. Ron White. He doesn't drink anymore because he discovered a different drug. Those 3 guys. There was another one. Foxworthy was You Know You're a Redneck, and the other guy was the You Know Your Sign. Here's your sign. Who's that guy? Y'all know. You'll put it in chat in a second. I don't even need to look at it. The way those guys came together, they were like, we're gonna do this thing. And Jeff Foxworthy was the guy who drove it. He was the guy who drove it. From what I understand, from my understanding of the reading of the history, Jeff Foxworthy. Ugh. All right, so I bit my tongue about 3 days ago, and it's like swollen. So I'm like literally stumbling over words right now. So Jeff Foxworthy drove this. Jeff Foxworthy got with Larry the Cable Guy, who has a real name. It's not Larry. Got with Ron White, who was already a touring comedian, and they like raised him up to the next level. And the Here's Your Sign guy whoever the fuck he was. Here's your sign, guy. Was that Jeff Foxworthy? Bill Engvall. These guys have been doing this shit for 20 years. Bill Engvall, Larry the Cable Guy, Ron White, and Jeff Foxworthy. And from my understanding, Jeff Foxworthy drove the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. And this is how the Whiskey Brothers, the concept of the Whiskey Brothers came together too. It was like a bunch of guys who had the same idea, and I get a gig, you're my feature, you're my backup, you're my feature, you're my opener, like they were a group, right? 4 guys, you're my group. I get a deal, you're my feature. I get a deal, you're my feature. I get a deal, you're my and that's how headliners. If you're headlining a comedy show, you get to pick your feature. There's a local guy who's an opener. You get to pick your feature. You're the headliner, and that's usually how it goes. And you call your buddies. You're like, hey, are you available? And there's an opener, a feature. There's usually a local guy who hosts, feature or opener, feature, and headliner. And that's kind of how it like plays out. So the opener is the guy who introduces everybody. I'm sorry, the MC is the guy who introduces everybody. That's usually a local guy, the guy associated with the bar, associated with the club, associated with the comedy club, whatever it is. And then there's the opener, who's sometimes a local guy, sometimes a guy the headliner brings on. The feature is the guy the headliner brings on, and then the headliner is the headliner. So when you see these guys like Steve Hostetter, who's touring with 1 or 2 guys, Slade will tour with 1 or 2 guys. Trey, who tours with 1 or 2 guys. Sam, who tours with 1 or 2 guys. These headliner guys, they will bring along a guy. That's their guy. They have a tour. They have a group. The big time guys, the super crazy, insane, Louis C. I'm thinking Louis C.K. That's the first name that fucking came to mind. Seinfeld's Louis C.K. The national guys. The guys who make $25,000 just for showing up. They don't have these touring groups anymore. They just fucking show up. And they're like, big bada bing, bada bing, bada bing. I'm done. Bye. Fuck off. But the smaller groups, they got their own touring teams, 2 or 3 guys, and that, as I understand it, is how the Blue Collar Comedy Tour grew up. They became a troupe, a comedy troupe that worked together. Larry the Cable Guy got a deal. Bill Engvall was coming. Bill Engvall got a deal. Jeff Foxworthy was coming. When Foxworthy blew up and became the fucking headliner for everything, it was Engvall or Larry or Ron White. And Ron White was a fucking force du jour on his own. So it was Foxworthy and Ron White, like 2 fucking headliners all the time, anytime, anywhere. And then eventually the Cable Guy blows up, Engvall blows up, and there's 4 fucking headliners anytime they want to go. Anytime they want to go, they're able to call their buddy Foxworthy, call their buddy Ron White. You have a dual headliner. Headliner, Foxworthy, feature guy of Larry the Cable Guy? Are you kidding me? That guy has a full hour of comedy? So eventually it grows up to the point where they have 4 comedy tours touring all the time. That's success. That's how it goes. And that was the idea behind the Whiskey Brothers. That it was 4 guys or girls, 4 guys, gals, 4 people all the time. And they're touring around Texas right now. You see Jerry Wayne get a headliner spot. Slade's right behind him, or Trey's right behind him, or Ron's retired. I'm sorry, not Ron. Rob. Rob's retired. But they got Jerry and Trey, and there's 4 of them on the dais all the time. Sam usually tours up and down the West Coast. Slade And then they have oh shit, there's two more people that are like independently associated with them, but not like associated. Uh, Jerry, where's your find you? Jerry can tell me more. Jerry. Roy? No, not Roy. Um, I have his name. He's in my contact. He's in my contact list. Where the fuck is he? The foot of Mount Blanca. Where is he? Who is he? Tied up at the moment. Slapped up. Where is he? Loden. Roy Loden. Fuck. Will. Will Loden. That's his name. That's another associated comic that all the Whiskey Brothers use for their shows. I mean, it's a group of guys, and that's how I understand the comedy group. Kuagenti, another guy who's been on my show several times. That's one of the things they do that he does. He has a Kuagenti and friends. He has a stable of like 8 people that he rotates through. He produces these comedy shows. He MCs the comedy show. He comes in. He's like, I'm the headliner. I'll do the show. Boom, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Here's my jokes. Bye. See you guys. And he takes off, and then everybody else does their show. But he got the show, and he got everybody together. He got it. He can do 3 shows a night. He can feature, and then headline a 4th show. He's a fucking boss. There's another guy. God damn, I bit my tongue like 80 times tonight. Hurts. There's another guy, Jody, who is a local here in Humble, and he does the same thing. He's got like 8 people that he works with. Nathan Amador, he's another guy. He's got like 8 people that he works with. He does shows and he cycles through his community. Who's available? Let's do it. Let's pack everybody in. And it's really cool to see these guys steadily, progressively improving their craft and blowing up. Even if it's a moderate blow up, nuclear bombs have various grades. If you're funny, hit your open mic nights, practice your craft, get better at what you do. At the very, very least, every time you hit an open mic, every time you iterate on stage, every time you get the reps, somebody has a better chance. You have a better chance of being seen by somebody who does a local comedy tour. You do more local comedy tours, you get into regional comedy tours. You get into regional comedy tours, you get into national comedy tours. That's how you get good at what you do. Same thing with what I do. You get out there, get in front of people. I have done hundreds of demos, hundreds of tastings at Specs and Total Wine. I know what my whiskey tastes like. I know how people react to my whiskey. I know what legitimate reactions are. I know what bad reactions are. I know what illegitimate reactions are. I know what my whiskey tastes like. I know when I made a good batch and I know when I made a bad batch. I know when I've let a bad batch get out on the market, and that's happened. It has happened. I know when I've got a good batch in the shop, and I know when that batch is going to be good. I know when I'm selling $60, when I'm charging $60 for $50 whiskey and $60 for $80 whiskey. I know because I've tasted it. I've done this hundreds of times, thousands of people. I know legitimate reactions because I've seen them. I've been there personally. And I know that every time I make my whiskey, it gets better. I'm not infallible, but I'm damn good at what I do. And what I do is make whiskey better every fucking time I try. Trying again and again and again and again is what I do. I'm good at that. I'm good at not quitting. I'm not good at being. I was about to say I'm not good at being good, but I am good at being good. I'm not good at being infallible because sometimes I fuck up. Sometimes it's the barrels. Sometimes it's the whiskey. Sometimes it's me. Um, You live within a few miles of a comedy club I went to when I was first visited Washington State. Had a good time. You should fucking go check out your local artists. Now, I have issues with local bands, local musicians. I have issues with local comics. Local comics are better at what they do than local bands, at least in Houston. In Houston, local bands are really bad at two things: promoting themselves and charging for their craft. Two things they're really bad at doing. Local comedians are really good at promoting themselves and charging for their craft. Local comedians are not afraid of charging you $5 to come watch their show. A local band charge you $5 for coming to watch them? Oh fuck! They're like, I come to bars that already have crowds so they can be ambient music. Well, fuck that. You're a fucking radio. You're not a band. You're a radio. You want to come play music that other people make? You're not interesting. You're not a band. You're a fucking cover artist. Who the fuck are you? Anybody can play a guitar. Anybody can turn on a radio. Anybody can listen to somebody else's music. I don't want to listen to you play George Strait. I can listen to George Strait play George Strait. All I gotta do is turn on the radio. I can put in a CD. Are you kidding me? Comedians are not afraid of charging people for their craft. Local musicians are afraid to charge people for their craft. They're afraid to charge people for their art. They're afraid to charge people for what they're able to do. And that is what separates comedians from musicians. Musicians, more often than not, the vast majority of musicians, I love musicians. I love local original artists. They're fantastic. They're fantastic. They deserve more credit than they get. Local original artists deserve it, but they're afraid to promote themselves. You're making original music and you're afraid to tell people about it? That's your music. How do you expect to sell it if you're not willing to tell people about it? If you're not willing to stand up and say, yeah, I'm good. Fucking come listen to my music. I deserve to get paid $5 by every one of you motherfuckers to listen to the 12 songs that I'm going to play tonight. Comedian's not afraid to say that. A comedian is absolutely not afraid to say, you owe me $5 for the 12 jokes I'm going to tell you. Musicians don't want to go. They want to get paid $200 by a bar who already has a crowd. And that's the difference between musicians and comedians. Comedians know their value. Comedians will charge you for their value. And comedians will tell you, look, if you don't want to come hear me, fuck off. I'm good at what I do. I stand in front of strangers and tell stories and make them laugh. Musicians will say, I stand in front of strangers and the bar pays me to do that. The bar brings the people, not the musicians. Their ambience, their lighting, their music, their fucking wall art, their murals. Musicians should be better at promoting themselves. Musicians, and that's the biggest issue that I have with small local bar musicians. Like, you should be willing to say, look, I'll draw a crowd. Pay me, I'll draw a crowd. If you're not willing to draw a crowd, like what the fuck? I sell whiskey. Draw a crowd. I'll give you a stage, but that's all I'm going to give you. You should be willing to charge people $5 a head to come listen to you play. You're not willing to do that? Like, you kidding me? I'm willing to charge people $5 a head to come and drink my whiskey. And that's what a shot costs, $5. I mean, if you're not willing to pay $5 to put my junk in your mouth, Don't even bother showing up. But you want people to put your junk in their ear, and you're not willing to charge them $5 for 12 songs? Piss off. Fucking clown shows. It's a load of shit, is what that is. It's a load of horse shit. It's an absolute load of horse shit. All right, where are we at? Are we at midnight yet? We're at midnight. We're at midnight plus 9? Woo! Baby, it's late. All right. I will very likely go live again later this week. I don't know when. I don't know what time. I don't know how. But we will be doing this later this week. What is it? 7 views? 7 views? That's not possible. 7 times 0.5. 22 minutes. 7 times 0.5. 3.5 hours. So we got 3.5 hours of watch time tonight. That's fine. I'm okay with 3.5 hours. All right. Kids, if you can't give me a good reason to stay open for another hour, I'm going to go to bed. I've got dentist appointments in the morning because I am the father of the year. Dentist appointments in the morning. Duh. Then after the dentist appointments, I go to the distillery to make the whiskey into the bottles. And then after we make the whiskey into the bottles, what do we do next? We go to the Wesleyan store and sell the whiskey out of the stores. And then when we sell the whiskey out of the stores, we make more of the whiskey into the distillery. So if y'all want, I don't know, how do I tell people? I've got to make a video telling people that we have memberships now. That's what YouTube wants me to do. How do I do that? I'll figure that out. Whatever. All right. Anyway, guys, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, it has been two of the most wonderful, fantastic, terrific, tremendous hours I have ever had in my entire life. You have been a part of that, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you being a part of that. I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate you getting your names on the Wheel of Doom and Glory, as I have listed in this book right here. I dropped a pen somewhere. It's fine. Y'all are good folks, and I thank you for supporting our channel, supporting our happy hours, and joining us and getting in chat and doing all the shit that you do. Thank you. We have bigger and better things coming. Bigger and better, amazing things coming. Stay tuned for that, because I don't even know how to describe them because I haven't really planned it all out. But my timer over here tells me that we are approached the point where we have lava in our lamp, and it is time to wrap up the show. So, pour your drink, get your glass up. Let's have a toast. Usually, I say, "May the road rise up to meet your feet, and the wind always beat your back, so that your travels may be swift, and you be home before they even know you left." But we're not going to do that tonight. We're not going to do that tonight because being home is great. Being home is great. I love being home. I'm not gonna lie. I love being home. But on the way home, this last time around, heading south out of Fort Worth, approached Highway 35. Or I'm on Highway 35, past Highway 30. And Highway 30 goes from Dallas to Abilene to Amarillo, I believe. Amarillo or Lubbock, one of those three. One of those two. Definitely goes through Abilene. And south was Houston. Eventually, south past 30 on 35 to 20, take a left on 20 to 187, down to 45, down to Houston. South, continuing south on 35 sent me to home. Taking a right turn to Abilene took me to adventure. I gotta admit, I love waking up next to my wife. She is a fucking desert flower. She is a special, precious creature. She is a thing. She is a person. She is a woman. She's an ephemeral thought that roots itself in your soul and grows in a way that you can't begin to express. And then I got my boys here. My whole family. Everything at home. Everything at home. Everything. From my dog to my cats to my guinea pigs to my children to my lovely wife. Everything brings me home. Because I've got civilization here waiting for me inside these four walls. But I gotta say, when I pass that sign, exit half mile, Abilene, goddamn. All I had to do was exit to adventure. Adventure was right there. And I could have taken a right turn, right off the freeway, right off of I-35, taken a right turn, right off of I-35, gotten on I-30, gone to Abilene, and made my way out west to Abilene, and on to Amarillo and Lubbock, and out to points where the sun sets. Goddamn. Telling you, no matter how civilized this dog gets, there's still the full moon that calls out the coyote that makes me howl. Adventure is out there on the road. Adventure is out there. And even when you come home to your beautiful family and your loving wife and the walls that keep you safe, out there is adventure. And I want to raise a glass to adventure. So to all you fine folks out there, and to all you fine folks out there who know the fine folks out there, I want to raise a glass to adventure, to tomorrow, to the tomorrows that we don't know yet, that might be, all of the tomorrows that might be. To that, cheers. And until next time, continue to be, the old humble guy. You are not. Cheers. Good night.